Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 2 of PSU LCS. Once again, I'm Infamous Trash,
And I'm Turbulence.
and we have another great matchup here for you guys tonight. Sandban versus our fall split champions in Team Siren. Both teams looking for their first win here in week 2, both teams being 0-2'd last week.
Just because they're 0-2 doesn't mean that they're bad teams.
Yep.
These are some of the top quality teams. Just how it played out, how it went, they managed to get both their games in the L category.
All right, and before we start the game, we do have a bit of an announcement. So, our Nittany Invitational 3, the third Nittany Invitational here for this year, has been announced as of tonight. Is now accepting team signups. And for that, we have a little bit of an advertisement. If I can pull it up here. One minute. Will this work? Yeah. All right. Enjoy.
And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
Even gonna pick up on Bay. Watch doesn't actually have to stop pushing right now. They can delay the recalls. Cheros, look at that. He gets teleport. He goes.
They're getting a third mountain frame. They already got the first round. That was huge for them to get a big goal lead. They're sitting in the right now. They got already. Bang is landing and coming. Bang looking to come in. Here's the finish. Gets it through. Oh my God.
Good shockwave. Will find them all.
From dust.
The hook glacial fissure onto multiple members as a massive whirling jet trap. Clearly able to get a foul fight out will find the whole team. The rest will not be the next top on going next on across. Johnson actually going to get a heal command attack, and that's a wombo combo.
Bayo was there to get it done. That's going to be it. That's going to be GG. Penn State's debating all this. They feel like they're going back. But instead, they are going to take this set.
Coming in. Oh my god! Galio gets a triple kill with that dude! And they steal the Baron!
All right, hello. We're back. Uh, yep. So, Nittany invite. Sign up. I think that conversation, that ad worked. I don't see why it wouldn't have. Is stream not working, guys?
I'm not entirely sure. Jam into some K-pop right now, though.
It's playing K-pop?
Am I on the wrong stream?
No. Let me figure out where the K-pop is coming from, though. Because
we go.
currently, is it playing it still?
No, it's on.
Wait.
Fixed it.
Okay, so there's no K-pop anymore or anything?
It's good. The music stopped.
Why was there Huh?
Dude, I don't know. We're getting in a pick band here.
Okay, cool.
Unfortunately, we cannot.
Sorry
see
if
that
there was
out.
an audio issue with this ad. I didn't have anything going wrong on my end, so I'm not really sure what it's up, but we do have going into draft. Like I always say, it wouldn't be a league stream without some technical difficulties. But we are getting to draft, so.
Interesting bands here. Your standard Echo, Aurelia, Riven, Kha'Zix, Zaya, Aphelios. Nothing too amazing happening. Taking a look at the picks happening, it's Oriana, that's Zamzon's favorite champ. They really, side of TS really made a mistake in giving them the Oriana because Zamzon is just so good at doing it.
Yep, and Zach is a great engaged jungler for these teams. One thing we do look at in PSU LCS is just ease of execution of drafts. This is in Pro League, so going things like poke comps, like some trickier assassin comps can be a bit harder to pull off. One thought that comes to mind is the 2014 FF15 series we had for Match of the Week. In Week 1, where although Talon got really fed against the Galio, just didn't really do much. It was just hard to get around and execute what they wanted to do. So dive, always a good thing to see here. Just ease in the Zac. Cassiopeia, Miasma, great zone control for dragon fights as well. And I'd be very surprised if we saw an Annie pick, but these are just all hovers, so. Nothing too insane going on here. And they switch sides on me again. Let me fix that.
The bottom graphic also needs to be changed to Siren versus Sandband.
Oh, it did not change?
I don't believe so.
No, it
Going
did
into the
not.
next
My
round.
mistake. Did not change.
Going into the next
There we
second
go.
of band, Morgana and Bard coming out. Then what else they pick? We do not have an 80 carry for the side of Sandband yet. Support bands on the side. Those are both towards Ruckshot. He loves playing his Bard.
Yep.
If you give him Bard, he's going to stasis you every chance that he gets.
Leona also going to be taking away a very strong champion still, even on 10-3. So nice to see that one taken away, just taken out of the hands. Again, great engage on the Leona. Super tanky. Like, once she hits 6, she can actually 1v1 an 80 carry, which is stupid and shouldn't be a thing.
We see iCut flexing how many champs he has.
Jinx.
Guess what they
This Sandvan comp is looking very dangerous going into the late game. All these champions so far locked in scale super hard.
They really don't want to play any time before 20 minutes. They are ready just to wait it out and win afterwards. Interesting to see where there's the Thresh for Ruckshock Warrior.
Yep.
One of the champs is very good at. Some people might not believe so, but if you ever played against it, you will know how difficult it is to lane.
And wow, yeah, didn't even realize Set made it all the way through to the end of the second round. Neither team wanting to pick him up first. Cassiopeia technically could be flexed to the top lane, though I'm not sure if you want to take the Jax into an Orianna. Even
Seems like it's going to be a standard set versus Jack's lane.
Set's still very strong against pretty much any melee champ you throw at him this patch. Nautilus here for scalps, making a good round out to this composition. Lots of pick making between Toontown on Zac as well as scalps on the Nautilus to get fights started off. And then you have a ton of damage in Sakura Wars and iCut, just pretty much in every stage of the game after laning phase ends. Jax on the Zentriv can go with the more teamfight oriented approach, which would really supplement the Zac, the Cassiopeia, and the Jinx, which all want to kind of get together and just rumble some team fights around Baron, around Dragon. Or if they're not winning the 4-man, if Team Siren does get solidly ahead, you can always send Zentriv in the side lane and be able to scale up and take towers that way.
With the amount of lockdown that Zac, Cassiopeia, Jinx, Nautilus, this Concal has to really just work on what's the right time to eat. Like, he could be frozen in place, bounced around, stunned, just clap-trapped, hooked. Like, everybody on their team has to be watching all 360 degrees around them at all times.
And the nice thing about Ezreal is that added safety he gets in lane. Arcane Shift is a huge asset versus something like a Nautilus, as well as a Zac. A lot harder to gank the Ezreal when he can just blink his way out of your range. Rakshak War on Thresh also can be a very big safety pick for the immobile champions like Set, as well as Zomzoned on Orianna as well, just with the Lantern. So if anyone's in a sticky situation, try to pull them out of there before the CC gets chained, before they just explode at the hands of a Jinx and Cassiopeia. So Team Siren, I don't think has as prolific of a late game team fighting comp. Do have a lot of scaling options like Shinzo Zaki. I'm just gonna call him Rika for sake of my own mouth in team fights. But Rika on the set, as well as Zomzoned and Infamous Phoenix on Kayn. Concal has decent scaling as well. So they do have good scaling. I don't think it's going to be as good as Sandban, but lots of different options if they can exploit early leads. Orianna should be able to get ahead in this mid lane early just by virtue of the matchup. Command Dissonance going to be doing a lot of damage to the relatively immobile Cassiopeia. Phase Rush is going to supplement that, but the Heal Summoner spell as well, I guess, will supplement that in lane sustain, not being able to get burst down by Zomzone, but should have lane control early, as well as Rika. In the top lane, Jax takes a while to scale, takes a while to get to that power spike where he can just absolutely destroy pretty much anyone. So if Team Siren can make these early leads happen in top and mid, I can really see them snowballing into mid game and then taking over before Sandban comes online. Because there is a point in this game, I believe, where Team Siren is just not going to be able to fight Sandban anymore. There is a clock. It's just how much time will it take for Sandban to get there.
As we're waiting for this spectator delay to wind down, we have 30 seconds left. I would like to point out that the character text, like the champion text in this client, is different for both sides. I don't usually see the custom game text like this. That just really bothers me.
I just noticed that, and now I cannot unsee it. Thank you for ruining my night.
Well, luckily enough, we are getting in game. The spectator delay is over.
Yep.
The client has disappeared from my actual screen and is now going to be replaced with the game screen. Wait and resync just to make sure. looking at the masteries and the keystones they're taking, there's a lot of mastery on both sides. Phoenix is level 7 on Kayn. Zamzone is level 7 on Orianna. Concal is level 7 on Ezreal. Ruckchuck is level 7 on Thresh. Dentriv is level 6 on Jax. Town is level 7 on Zac. Sakura Wars is level 7 on Cass. And iCut is level 7 on Jinx. Nautilus and Set do not have anything that shows up for me, but what we're about to see is some top tier gameplay for each of these champs. Everybody here knows what they're doing extremely well.
This is a really long loading screen for us, actually, but rune choice is fairly standard across the board, with the exception of the Orianna. Zamzone in the mid lane choosing to go the Phase Rush build. Slightly less common on Orianna, but definitely helps with their movement speed and with as much crowd control as Sandband have. Might actually become a giant asset come the mid game when some of these team fights start occurring. So looking forward to see how Zamzone can pilot a slightly faster Clockwork Mage. And Concal choosing not to go with the Conquer that we sometimes see on the Ezreal or the growing in popularity Lethal Tempo, but instead going for the press the attack.
Thing I would like to note is that the Aerie is very good for shields and healing people, and the Arcane Couch is good for poke damage. On your team, shields is not your number one priority. Like, Party Shield, you do not need another shield on Orianna, especially when you have Summoner Spell Barrier. Phase Rush.
Oh,
It's definitely the right choice for this team, Philip.
Spicy
There's an
5-man
in-game
going top
thing
lane
happening.
will be spotted out. Flash in from Rika to try to get the kill. Finds a face breaker, but will be flash as well from Ruckchuck. I thought actually that was Zentra, but he just ward hopped out of there. So 2 flashes already burned on Team Siren, and the invade hasn't really even gotten going yet.
Very, very strong level 1 play.
Very strong-minded level 1 play. Did not result in
It
much.
might not be much helpful.
Now possibly Toontown with an early lane to gank if he so chooses in the top lane. Rika without flash, as well as Ruckchuck in the bottom lane. So if Scallops can get a pick on this bot side, Ruckchuck could be in some trouble in this early laning phase.
I'd like to note that there is a blue stealth ward on the red side chickens. So yes, you did spend a flash, but you will know where that attack is going after he takes his bottom side or jungle.
I will say, yes, I do like the fact that you're getting vision control. Not entirely sure if it's worth 2 flashes, but I digress. In this early laning phase, though, not particularly expecting to see too much out of Sandband, except in the bottom lane. Zac, generally speaking, once he gets some levels under him before he really does anything, is kind of squishy in the early game. Doesn't have a lot of cooldowns, so something needs done there. Zentriv in the top lane, not really looking to be super aggro. Set beats pretty much everyone this early in a 1v1, so, and mid lane is just going to be a farm fest. So bot lane is the target for if there's any 2v2 action. Dredge lines are a heck of a way to kill someone.
I mean, not surprised. I would not be surprised if Ezreal did take E second. I have not seen him cast his W at all. Definitely want to be safe. There's a good stone on Rika.
Oh, Infamous Phoenix finding Toontown into the jungle. Sakura Wars lands the miasma. Does not land the Noxious Blast. Toontown's probably going to go into passive. Will go down. Flashes away, but Zentriv's here to follow. And the top lane isn't here. First blood to Jax. No rotation from Rika.
Get the minion wave pushed on the turret, but that is definitely not worth the 400 gold.
Yep, and as well as Infamous Phoenix's flash. He thought he was safe coming out, but the Jack's already roaming down. And now this affects a lot of the map. Infamous Phoenix probably going to fall a little bit behind here in jungle just by virtue of going down. As well as now it's Zentriv actually with the gold lead in top lane that he probably wouldn't have saved the kill in the jungle.
Brianna does have the early CS lead, not by very much. Definitely is the current, awkward current game state with the 3 flashes down for the side Siren, and only 1 down for the side of Sandman.
Yeah, this will actually heavily affect that early game top lane. Zentriv got double buffs as well off the gank play. So he can now trade pretty effectively into Rika with that true damage burn. As well as infinite mana relatively. Can go some Zoyong farm, and this will neutralize a lot of Zentriv's very vulnerable parts of the early game. Oh, did not get tagged by tower there.
It's a cannon taking aggro.
Yep, and as expected, mid lane. Farm fest.
But nothing is happening in mid lane.
Yep. Zomzone with a sizable lead in mid lane as Zentriv going in on Rika. Finds the face breaker and the haymaker. But we'll just take the winning trade and call it a day. Red buff sustain though, going to keep Zentriv very healthy as he hits level 5.
Do not think that Zentriv has backed yet.
No, he has not spent any of that gold. So this is even without. That was just with the double buffs advantage for the most of that lane.
Is very strong early.
Yep. Red buff as well is just nuts. The true damage burn on that, as well as the sustain it gives you in lane, is insane. Feels real bad for Rika having that one go over.
Looking at the bot lane, nothing's really. There's nothing in these large trades yet. I think they just agreed to just farm. The top lane is just going at it.
Yep, that's what bruisers do.
Lead not be the lane that will make or break the entire game, but it's the most interesting lane very early on.
Yeah, and it really shouldn't be again. It doesn't. Zentriv doing well to do that early rotation for the first blood kill, getting those double buffs. Now, first dragon is up. Zomzone so far has maintained that middle lane priority, so could see Infamous Phoenix path bot lane to try to get this first drag, but is instead counter jungling top the Krugs. Oh, face breaker lands, but the E is trailed by Zentriv. Will be stunned. Now it's 2 down in the lane, trying to land something, but Shizai is going to get the full face breaker. Does not hit the true damage though. Just ults back. Showstopper buying a little bit of time, going very low. Infamous Phoenix just hits a Q and leaves, and that is another kill onto the Jax.
Will be a very difficult game to play for the set in its current state.
Yeah, that's I said it in draft and I'll say it again. Team Siren, they do have the scaling option, but it almost feels like they're on kind of a clock here with just how much late game Sandman is put together, and with the Jax already 2-0, if he can continue to build his lead and choke out Rika, it's going to be really hard for the side of Team Siren to really deal with him in a side lane towards the mid game. It's going to be really hard.
What currently needs to happen to like increase the timer that Team Siren has to win this game? Like, if it hits 30 minutes at this point, it's heavily in Sandman's favor. To stop that, like, Zomzone currently has a CS lead up on Cass.
Yep.
The only issue is that Cass has an assist. Like, shut down this Cassiopeia.
And that's how it should be early. Orianna can really easy bully champions like Cassiopeia out of lane. So, pretty expected. result in the mid lane so far. Has gotten himself a blue buff. So Soccer Wars should be doing just fine on mana cost now. Spam Noxious Blast as much as he wants. See if Infamous Phoenix decides to donate his mid lane to the second blue or just take the XP for himself. We'll just look to take it.
Oh, the issue is that Kane has a secondary mana bar,
Yep.
while X does not. So the greatest thing about having a jungler that doesn't have a secondary bar is that they can give you every single one of their blue buffs.
After
Yeah,
the
they're going to be
first
behind
one,
a farm, but that's expected for junglers.
Even speaking though, I'm not gonna say anything about the chase where I'm not a jungler. I can't speak too much on the thing, but third blue buff I'd expect to see go over to Zom Zone, especially to counter Soccer Wars. Again, this is a lane that Team Siren should be winning early and currently is. Zom Zone doing very well in the lane so far, trying to keep that farm advantage and push it further, but it gets really hard when your enemy has limitless mana to shove wave and do as much wave management as they want. As gank top lane, possibly Zentric popping the ult very early, getting those extra resistance. Showstopper gonna put Zentric back a ways. Haymaker also going short. Infamous Phoenix now trying to get on, will pop the ultimate. E channel misses. Zentric hopping onto the ward though. Might just
Take it
escape,
away.
and he's out of there.
Under turret. Beautiful play by Zentric, just barely exceeding. Does have a shutdown bounty as of now. He keeps that on him. He goes as far as to go under his secondary turret.
Yeah, smart
Because he
against the
does
king.
not want to be hit.
And mid lane still farm fest, but Rift Herald started up here by the side. Ooh, actually, great turn from Zom Zone to avoid that petrifying gaze. Splashes forward, forces the fact that Soccer Wars as well. A very close exchange of ultimates in the middle lane. Zom Zone playing that almost to perfection. A beautiful turnaround there. Ooh. I will admit the shockwave caught me by surprise, but very well played by the Orianna.
Funkow did use his ultimate as an attempt to kill the pass here.
Yep.
He will not have that for the remainder of... I mean, it will be up soon, but he will not have that for a good amount of time.
In the meantime, though, a trade of objectives does happen across the map. Infamous Phoenix claiming the Rift Herald, whereas Sandban going to be claiming the Dragon with bot lane pressure. And early Dragons really not doing too much. Last season in Season 9, or early Infernal gave you like 10% adaptive, I think. Whereas now it only gives 4. So, not that important that they have it, but with a team like Sandban who's really looking for those late game power spikes, building up to that soul is a big part of their kit. Likewise, Rift Herald on the side of Team Siren. They want to try to get some early leads, try to get some lane snowballing, and a Rift Herald can do just that, garnering an early gold lead, especially if you can get some plates with it.
Topside acknowledging that the Jax was missing. Comes back. Going in for the trade.
Yep, Facebreaker does land, but only the shield will come from the Haymaker. And Rika going very low. Zentric trading well, has the ultimate and the W, but will not find any other trading able to walk it out under tower. Bot lane, though, setting up for a 4-man dive. Top lane Facebreaker missing again. Zentric going very low, and now it's Toontown coming in. Finds the Q. There's the Haymaker trying to buy some time. Shield goes out. Showmaker as well, but it's Zentric able to find the kill anyway. Almost the outplay. And now bot lane, a trade of plays. Death Sentence comes on a scalp to flash away from the initial Kane ult. Now taking aggro, actually going very low. Finds the ultimate, trying to counter, but will go down to Jinx in the end. Now it's iCut, possibly going for the counter. Conkow just going to look for the turret. Soccer Wars does show up to ward off in the end, and it will be a 1-for-1 in the bot lane, which means advantage overall across map to Sandband. Though first turret should go down here to Siren.
That's the most important thing that they got. They got the plates. They got the turret. Yes, they did give Zentriv 3 top turret plates. That's not going to be good for the set. The turret, they're opening up the map They're creating more pressure. I think they are going to swap lanes here.
I would assume so. Dragon is coming up before Rift Herald, but it doesn't look like Team Siren is putting too much emphasis on the early Drakes. So might be looking to go for that second Rift Herald or just get some more tower plates top lane. No, they can't really do that either. They're going to expire here in 30 seconds. So a bit of an interesting swap.
The large issue is that if you're a bot lane and you get your tower really early, all you have to do from then on is just keep pushing out your lane. You can't really do that much. If you have 2 turrets as a bot lane, you can still skirmish and try to push into that turret. Still currently going on. Even though it's a little bit later, it's still a thing. Throwing the set down to the bottom just to catch wave and clear them when they come is a good decision to make.
And here is that blue buff transfer. We expected Zomzo picking that one up and should be able to compete with Soccer Wars in the mid lane with that push power. Top lane, still the bot lanes as well as Infamous Phoenix. Possibly going to find Toontown on the red buff.
The entire...
You must know this is happening. Yep, going in for the smite. Does not find it just yet. 420 on the buff. Smited there by the side of Toontown. Will get stunned up by Destin. Jin's ulti. Also finding Infamous, who now goes below 50%. Able to blast cone over, but Ruckchuck getting engaged upon as well. Toontown in the backline. Death Sentence onto the Soccer Wars as a beautiful combo. Rika and Zomzone. Shockwave Showstopper to find the kill. Zentrip dives in for more onto the backlines. Infamous Phoenix finally puts Zach back in the passive. And Ica for Jesus able to get Rika in the end. Toontown actually almost kills Infamous. Does in the end. The ult doesn't make it happen. And it will be...
thing with Zach, sometimes you just gotta kill him and run. Like, you gotta let his GA pop, let it come back.
That is a 4-for-1.
It's a beautiful play. Sandman's really just hyper scaling at this point. If they don't give up any more kills, they're just gliding straight to the top.
Zentriv is absolutely massive right now. 2k on his, almost 2k on his opposing laner alone. 1k in the jungle, almost 1k in the jungle, about 700 actually. In the jungle lead towards Sandman, and that's where a lot of this small gold lead is coming from for the red side here tonight. And now Zentrip is a force to be reckoned with. He does so much damage at such an early point in the game, and it's only going to get worse from here.
Drake on the map is mountain, I believe. So that means that they will be shielded, if I remember correctly. Or whoever gets the soul.
Now, to give Team Siren credit, they did have a pretty stupid cool play in that last fight. The Shockwave Showstopper combo is pretty nice. Soccer Wars had literally no chance to do anything, but the rest of the team is just way too far ahead, and the fight 2 split up with two members getting kind of zoned off just by Toontown alone on the backside. To really be worthwhile. So Siren still showing signs of life. That's what we see. We don't like to see our teams here just like roll over and die almost when they get behind. They're still fighting.
I wouldn't know who would do that.
There's a difference between rolling over and dying and just getting stomped, to be fair. Toontown, though, gonna dodge out of an ultimate, as well as Infamous Phoenix with his own ulti. Does not have the passive. Awkward, though, flashing on a Zomzone, trying to find a kill with the Twin Fangs. Able to land one more Q, but the command distance stopping any further advance in its tracks. Toontown looking for re-engage on his Giozaki. Finds a stun off of Zentriv. The drip line comes through, and I cut for Jesus. Finds a kill off the playmaking of jungle and support duo. So kill does go over to Sandman in the end, as this is a very big 5-man for the Rift Herald. Low health bars around. Zentriv though diving onto Infamous Phoenix. No smite in the pit right now. Could be stolen if someone can... Or yeah, there's smite. I forgot. He's not the jungler. So it's smite in the pit.
And that was a very smart play by Zentriv. He has full Triforce and Ninja Tabbies. He is not going to die from just 2 people. Especially just with support that does CC. He wastes their time. They get Rift Herald. They back. They have a good time. They're going to be able to use that to take out probably one outer turret at least. their middle turret.
Good move
for
on
it.
Siren there. Going to trade at least something macro-wise for the play onto Rift and the loss of their top laner. Yeah, my apologies on the misspeak earlier. For some reason, I thought Zentrip was the jungler there.
That's just because you've been seeing so much Jack Jungle, probably.
I've been seeing a lot of it in the Silver Solo queue, so my sincerest apologies. Team Siren, though, falling not too far behind overall. Only around 800 gold is the difference between these two teams. A lot of Team Siren's gold actually centered onto Zomzoned and Concal. So the two carries are the ones who have the gold, and that's what you want to see if your Team Siren still have some sort of a fighting chance here in the game. Going to take a lot more of a chance, though, to overcome this Jax right now. It just has so much freaking gold.
Again, is that a Sterix gauge or is that it's Roarm's fist?
Well, that right there is a more of a fist, but it could probably be built to a Sterix, yeah.
I think the only thing that it can build into is a Sterix.
Might build a Titanic. No, that's a... No, it doesn't. I lie.
It's pretty apparent that we do not play top at all. We do not play tanks. But this, after
We don't play.
this item's depleted,
We don't play bruisers. Sterix is a bruiser item. Tanks don't build Sterix. We're healthy enough.
after this item's completed, Zentrip's gonna be pretty hard to kill.
Yeah.
Pretty scary to get jumped on by. This deck's gonna.
Oh,
jump in.
Toontown going right on.
Definitely.
Concal able to arcane shift away. Miss Phoenix does get the disrupt with the Q. And yeah, just a little faint engage. Doesn't really burn anything too essential from the side of Team Siren, but does ward them off the dragon, and they have to forfeit control. This is going to be for soul points, so Team Siren might look to contest this. Still has Rika pushing in the top lane, has the TP now, and does have a lot of flanking wards. Could come in from the backside with a showstopper, should he want to TP almost off cooldown as the dragon started up. Lantern in the pit, not going to find anything, knows they're pulling it out. Teleport not going to be channeled, and Team Siren just going to let this one go.
It's only the third drag, so it's not a very important thing, but you do not want to give up drag. Great. You saw the Thresh go for the steal. But it did kind of pull the dragon out far enough. Kind of delay it.
Yeah, and the big thing about that Drake is now Team Siren has to contest them when they go for this next Drake, pretty much. Is a Mountain Soul, it ain't the best soul for their team, but that just means Nautilus, Jax, and Zac are going to get real tanky if they can get that extra shielding power on top of their health bar.
Get those visions correctly. There's 3.
Ooh, Conkel's back is stopped. Does Arcane Shield away, has to flash from Zentrip. Good heads up play by Soccer Wars, canceling that.
Interesting thing is that there's no red wards in the blue jungle.
No, Team Siren doing a very good job sweeping that out, maintaining their vision control. You can see the difference, the disparity in vision score between the supports. 46 to 28. Scalp not in the best day as Death Sentence lands on a Soccer Wars, pops the ulti, only gets the Orianna, and Shinozaki able to find that one easy. Great pick off the back of Ruckshuk. And that's how Team Siren come back in this game.
That's what I was saying earlier. Playing against Thresh, controlled by Ruckshuk, is not always, like, it doesn't always work out for him, but he's so good at hitting all his folks and clearing vision.
Ooh, Shockwave onto
It's not
Eye-Cut,
always the
flashes away from the Death Sentence, so not finding there, but does burn Flash, protects the ulti. Good. Team Siren starting to try to find these picks, and so far gaining small advantages to keep the tempo in this game, and now have actually found themselves a small gold lead despite what feels like Sandban having the majority of control.
They have lane objectives and the gold lead. They do not have the jungle objectives or kills. So, like, there's a very split duality we have here. And who is it in the favor of? We really can't tell yet. It depends on how this this last dragon fight goes.
Both teams now just sweeping out Baron, trying to keep all that stuff under control. Don't want one team sneaking it kind of underneath your gaze. Both teams also have a fairly decent Baron take. Actually, Sandman has a very fast Baron take if they ever get the chance to put Cassiopeia and +1 on there. Be it Jinx or Zentriv.
Really all you need is somebody to tank Baron shots and Cassiopeia just to burn it down.
Yep.
If you get an ace, you can literally take both objectives at the same time.
Yeah, it would not be too hard for this team to pull off. Though, side wave control going to the side of Team Siren, doing a very good job just managing their waves, setting up vision control. You can see all of that vision in the top side jungle. One ward getting sweeped out finally by, I think it was Scallops. But other than that, lots of vision control in that top side jungle for the side of Team Siren, whereas bot side control going more so to Sandman, setting up for that Drake spawning in the next minute.
Interesting thing is that Sandman does not have middle turret taken down yet. If you want to do anything in the enemy jungle and like really collapse on people, you need that middle turret gone, or you don't have two of your most important escapes.
Yep. And this is just Ruksha clearing out even more vision. Constantly looking for wards, constantly looking to gain control over the Baron pit.
Ruksha's Thresh is a formidable flow. He just walks around, he hooks people, and he clears vision, and he's really good at it.
Yep. Concal taking his final recall here, resetting and running out to the Drake, spawning in around 20 seconds. Currently, Sandman maintaining control over the bot side river, making sure no one can have access to the Drake with them. This time around, Shinozaki in the river, ready to fight. Team Siren looking for a pick to take control of the mid-gate. Base breaker to cancel Toontown will mean he can't get the jump off. Stunned by Zentriv, who already has the ultimate pop. Thought the fight was coming earlier, and now the fight commences. Shockwave onto 2 in the backline, but it's Toontown with ult in the middle. Zentriv on the back as well. Conkow kiting away as Icut for Jesus grabs a kill. Kiting is Soccer Wars. The backline is untouched for Sandman, and they are just shredding through Siren. Icut for Jesus doing so much damage with the Rocket. Zentriv with the auto attack. Soccer Wars able to just fly around with the phase rush, and now it's the flash on her tower. Zentriv tries to grab the kill, but will be buried away by Oriana. Concal! Aggressive arcade shift finds a kill on the enemy mid, but will be taken down, flashes away, and will donate 300 gold to the wallet of Zentriv. It is only Zomzone with a sliver of HP to try to steal away the break if he so chooses, but it will not be in time. Sandman finds themselves 15-3 in kills, but and a Mountain Soul, but only around 400 gold in advantage.
Mountain Soul is the most important thing that was gathered at the fight. Yes, they did go 4-2, but that Mountain Soul will just do so much for them. Makes it very difficult to take somebody down by surprise if you have that armor and magic resist, plus a shield on top of it.
And now this is, I mean, I'd say Siren should be like trying to like figure out ways to make picks, find the outnumbered fights, but they're not that far behind in any real sense of the manner. Lots of gold on Zomzone. If they group up, they might be able to take one last fight before Sandman really gets to just the point of being unstoppable. Toontown insanely tanky at the moment as well. Toontown actually looking for an engage, finds it on a Shinozaki and Zomzone, but that might not be the members he wants to go on. Shinozaki pull back to the team, finds a huge W. We burn down, finds Showstopper. No, does not finish it. Soccer Wars able to finish that one off. That haymaker was massive, chunked out so many members. Possible re-engage? No. And it ends up being a 1-4-0 for Sandman. And Team Siren, they're trying to find fights, trying to make something happen, and just don't do the damage right now. The Mountain Drake Soul is actually doing quite a bit of work with the amount of shielding it's been providing these teams, as well as the extra resistances. And it's just making it so hard for Concow to really cut through anyone at this point in the game, as well as Zone. And
What's important thing to note is that this Jinx is 503. She has a 600 gold shutdown. This Jax is 504. And then with a 500 gold shutdown, if any of those are popped, you're basically at even gold again. You do not want.
this is that quick Baron we were talking about earlier, Curb. Baron started up iCup for Jesus and Soccer Wars there to help out. Team Siren does know what's going on, sending over a few members now. Concow and Zentrip, though, not to be part of this party. Zentrip now TPing in, trying to deter any type of steal Toontown, jumping out, trying to get a pick on Infinite Phoenix. iCup for Jesus there as well, landing some heavy rockets, doing some damage. As the far side alteration sees that the Baron has him stopped. Toontown, though, re-engaging, finds a dredge line, and Zentrip finds a kill. That's the jungler down. That should be the Baron. Team Siren, though, still looking to contest, as now it's actually Sandman jumping forwards, trying to make more kills happen. Can just bait around this Baron. Team Siren no longer has the vision control. Baron started back up. Toontown looking for Zomzone on the backside. Zentrip also coming around. Shockblast's gonna buy a little bit of time, but Zentrip able to kite it out. Shidosaki's just walking into 4 members. He gets obliterated by Cassiopeia.
They can do it. Third time, get the team off of Baron. Delay the inevitable.
Yep, trying to burn time, trying to get Infamous Phoenix back in here before anything happens. Onzum's still up, but he won't be up much longer. Great lantern from Ruckchuck to pull him away. Baron down to 4K though, will go down before Infamous Phoenix can get here unless Siren does something. Finds the hook and he steals it with the command dissonant Zone and Ruckchuck with the hero play. And that's Baron for Team Siren.
Beauty of Ruckchuck's fresh.
Ruckchuck gonna be a sacrifice, but that's
He's
4
like to die
members,
for his
or
team.
3 members of Siren with Baron buff available. What a steal! The death sentence from Ruckchuck stunning up Toontown. And it's actually Zomzone who's able to burst down the Baron with command dissonance.
It's an amazing play. That's all you had to do. You had to stall as much as possible until you just had to go all in. Unfortunately, they died. They only had their Orianna left to be the hero.
Orianna and
And
Ruckchuck.
Zomzone
Can't forget the
pulled
guy
through.
who made the death sentence happen.
Ruckchuck, that's to be expected. He is one of the best Threshers I know.
And that steal buys some time for Team Siren. Gold will still stay at parity even after how many times Team Siren went in and died around the Baron pit. And it will set them up to have the buff for the Elder Drake, which spawns in just 45 seconds. Elder Drake in Season 10, a hugely powerful advantage for one team. Basically, 20% of your health doesn't exist. It's an execute threshold now, so you will die if you go that low. Makes it very hard to team fight against it, and is a huge boon, really, for every team to get it. You could have 0 Drakes, and it'd still be an incredibly effective weapon to kind of push a game in your favor, or even end a game outright, given that Sandman, although having a lot of the tempo, a lot of momentum for the majority of this game, have not been able to find any meaningful advantage yet.
Sing it. Spawning right now.
Yep.
So we see both teams once again. The Jax is not here yet.
Note,
He is still catching the wave. He will flank.
all
in this
of
fight.
Siren's flashes are up and available. Ica for Jesus is just coming off cooldown now, so that's all summoners around. Scalp's unable to find the dredge line as the engage comes out from Toontown. Tries to find an Orion, doesn't make it happen just yet. Now they're all jumping onto the back line as meanwhile the fight split into 2. Soccer Wars made by taken out by Concow. Now it's Ica for Jesus trying to kite away, trying to get away from Shibazaki. Does so to no effect. Concow gets another shutdown. Only Zomzone falling in the backlines. Everyone jumps on the Orion. Now the dog pile comes on from the divers. That trip goes into the GA. We'll get some more time to do some damage later. Two down still is passive. Still can go down. Conk out kiting. Landing Mystic Shot after Mystic Shot. A great arcane shift out of the Nautilus route will buffer it. And now it's Zentrip going very low, having to ward hop over the wall. Conk out looks to fall. Finds it. Arcane shift to make it happen. And that is an Ezreal carry if I've ever seen one. Elder Drake's still up, and that should be Team Siren to take.
Really have to just look back on the Ruckshuck play of Baron just to see the giant shift in momentum in this game. Jungler out of range, making sure he doesn't jump in and steal it.
Yep, Jitruck, it is coming in. Probably will be a little late to the party. Yep, we'll just hit Concal. And that is Elder, and it goes on Zomzone. Zomzone respawned before that Elder was killed. So the Orianna, the Burst Mage with Shockwave, also has that Elder buff. Baron, I believe, has fallen off of the members. Yep, it has fallen. So will just be the Elder Dragon buff on these Team Siren players, and now it is on them. They have all the initiative to take these fights. No objectives for a minute 50 seconds, but Elder should be up for the initial spawn timer. So lots of time to work with. Push out side waves, keep the map control to the side of Siren.
Pretty rare to see a game where the team that's you believe has the advantage has half the kills of the team that you believe has the disadvantage.
Yeah, and it's actually Siren now with a 3k gold lead. Finally someone pushing what I would say was a significant advantage. And Zentrip will finally get the first turret for Sandman at 35 minutes. The first outer turret falls. If it is though, looking to duel him, I'm not sure if this Kane can actually take this. Zentrip is insanely strong right now. It's just burning away. Does not have the HP to take this fight. Does get a lot of healing back off the ult. Gets the interrupt off the knockup. Zentrip though still looking to follow. If this Phoenix gets a ton of lifesteal, now the fight is turned. If this Phoenix flash forward, gets the execute, and Zentrip falls. Beautiful play from Phoenix. Thought he'd go down there, but plays it very well and manages to out-sustain the Jax. And now it is a 4v4 in the mid lane. Elder still able. Shockwave finds Eye Cut for Jesus, and he is blown to pieces. Death sentence on the All Scouts going in as well as Ruckshuck, and he is gone. Concal claiming a kill with another great Mystic Shot. More executes coming through as Soccer Wars, the last man standing for the side of Sandman. Pops the Seraphs to kite away. Concal is going supernova this game as Team Siren basically flame Horizons 3 members of Sandman, and they're going for the end. Still 8 seconds on Zentrip and over 10 for the other members. Could look to end the game. The turrets are down. The Nexus has started. Zentrip will just have a 1 second to come up, but he doesn't even get to spawn. Game 1 to Team Siren.
Was absolutely insane through and through.
A beautiful display of team fighting there in those last Baron and Elder fights from Siren, able to just out-execute on Sandman, even with how much early advantage Sandman had.
That's a game that you get out of and you just take a step back, think about what went right, think about what went wrong. Like that last fight, the 1v1 versus Jax and Kane, that was just Phoenix knowing his champion extremely well. He lost the initial trade, he ulted, he got his health back, and Elder execute. Like, so beautifully played. And neither of us were expecting that to happen. But Phoenix just knows how to play Kane so well that he had full confidence to go in on that.
Yeah, and that was just a very well played late game from Siren. They never really fell behind in gold. They were getting structures. For some reason, Sandband, I guess I'm trying to figure out what they really did wrong there, but just could not push their advantage. in any of the side lanes or mid lane well enough, just kind of picking fights where they could. But they weren't able to get any objectives, so Siren just able to keep map control, able to keep the gold close, and just able to out team fight in the end against a comp that really should have been at 35, 40 minutes, especially with how huge Zentrov was, able to outscale. So the execution by Siren holding firm in that late game and putting on quite a display of talent, even without Kiana being present.
The thing that really like sold this game was one, Sandbane did not take the middle turret. Like that turret stayed there for at least 30 minutes. I don't even know if they destroyed it. But taking that turret just it opens up the map in such a unique way that no other turret on the map really does. It gives you so much pressure just to like jump in. Second of all, I think the Jax, despite being fed, Team Siren was able to match him every single time. If he wanted to split push, he wasn't allowed to. If he wanted to team fight, he was allowed to, but they also had 5 people there. Like no matter what, that Jax was being followed and watched. That lead by just keeping tabs on him. If a fed Jax just jumps out of nowhere, you're going to be shocked. You're probably going to die. But since they kept him controlled and under wraps, he couldn't really do anything to really carry the game.
Yeah, for sure. And really, the only thing I can criticize Sandban for that entire game was just not playing well around objectives, not really, or I should say towers, because they did get dragons. They got dragons, they got Rift Heralds for days, but they weren't able to really capitalize on any of those advantages. They just kind of mellowed out, didn't really just set up and then push a wave in. That would be the only thing I fault it for. They just weren't able to get any pressure on the map because they didn't take towers.
The towers were the most important part. I think throughout the entire game, it was either 1 or 2 total. Like, on Team Siren had 4. So it's very difficult to play when towers are still standing. And the Rift Herald, I would have liked to see the Rift Herald really just open up the map. But if you don't have somebody to follow that in every single fight, that's not going to take at least 1 tower.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only fault, because otherwise, Sandban was playing that early game beautifully. The rotations from Zentrov, the early dragon fights, even the initial dance around Baron was done very well. The Baron itself play was done fine. That was more an outplay by the side of Siren, specifically Ruck, Shuck, and Zomzoned. So, I can't really fight Sandban on. I thought the draft was good. I thought all that was good. So,
again, they played the game extremely well. Just late game, when they should have been carrying, they just couldn't find the fights they wanted. And that's just because the enemy team had a comp that if you were left alone, you get dunked by Set. If you were in a group, you get ulted by Ori. Like, against it. Just because the people that they needed to be ahead and needed to be in the right position were. We're currently waiting for the next game to start in the lobby.
yep. And
There's lots of conversation.
realistically, like I can't fault Saban. I thought the draft was very well. Just needed more execution around the objectives to really make it happen. But other than that, the draft definitely wasn't the problem. That's not something you hear a lot in PSU LCS. There's only at least one thing I can critique on the draft that could have been changed. But realistically, that was a fine draft. And they played it really well during the time period where it should have been really bad.
With the Sandban draft, usually when you have a hyper scaling, hyper carry hyper champion, you want only one of those on your team. And that just might be my personal opinion.
No, it's understandable. You do want to just like be able to
Super
funnel
bet.
resources into just one person and not overload it. I understand that.
If you have to share all your cast CS with a Jinx, you're not going to be able to improve as much. And if you have Jax, Cass, and Jinx on the same team, you're all going to be in a pretty like central spot of who's going to take the CS this time. Immediately, we're back in a pick ban phase.
Yep. And we're going to get started with game 2, see what these teams change to make a difference here, as Siren has found their first win. Now we got to see if Sandban can find theirs.
Ban is refusing to make the first mistake of letting Zamzun play his main champion. Interesting to point out that Team Siren went for the same exact bans that they did last game. The ban is similar. They took Kha'Zix away from Phoenix and Zaya away from Concal, two players that know that they love to play these champions. Is something that they missed, and they definitely want to fix it. We'll give Concal's Ezreal again. They feel this is up for iPet to play. Wait for the lock to happen for Phoenix.
Yep, Set finally going to be picked up in the first round here is a very strong pick. Shinozaki not looking the best on it, but will be instead the Thresh in the bot lane, re-secured by Team Siren, which did look very dominant in that mid to late game.
Again, if you watch Rakshak play Thresh, you're not going to be expecting a lot happening. Like, if you watch him in laning phase, if you watch him in, like, team fight phase, you don't see him actively doing any crazy Thresh plays where he hooks and then pulls and then plays and then boxes and then gets a pentakill. He just plays, like, is amazing. He lands his hooks about, like, 50% of the time, but that's to be expected. Walking around the map, helping everybody that needs help, just clearing all the vision. Like, I think his vision score last game was above 60.
It was a very big discrepancy between him and Scalps. I think at one point it was like 30-something vision score to less than 20. So, did have a giant deal in the pick-making potential of that team. Now, this is a
Shen
blind
picked
pick
up.
Shen for presumably Shinozaki. I doubt it's River
Probably.
Shen. I hope it's not River Shen.
Should not be
But
over
if
Shen.
that is Shen
What
top,
happened
would
last
definitely
game?
be considering a set ban, as that is still up and available. We'll instead go the route to Diana for the first round 2 ban.
Lux ban in here.
Yep, and Diana, I understand. Diana, very strong champion on patch 10.3 still. The mana nerfs really don't matter as soon as you get that Catalyst of the Ages or Rod, I don't remember which. Your mana is basically the same as it was before the nerf, even with the item, so you don't really feel that too much. But,
Thing with the Lux ban is
yep, there's the
That's
set
fine.
ban. Alright.
there's
They're not entirely
Like-
insane.
playing Lux into Morg is basically a beer match without having the same champion. The game ban, that's to be expected. Phoenix, he didn't really pop off, but he was extremely good at creating pressure where pressure was needed.
Ooh, it will be Team Siren this time, taking the Cassiopeia away from Sakura Wars. Zomzone going to be looking to pilot that in the middle lane. Sandban also debating going back to the Zac. That would probably mean that Toontown or that Jax currently locked in for 2 down, going top, and yep, so that should be Zentriv going back to the Jax, which early game looked very good on him.
Definitely. But now he gets either plays it into Shen or plays it into a.
That is a
else
Philio
under the
solo
other
lane
Shen.
in PSU LCS. It's happening. Very.
We're waiting for Rushnik's pick. We do know.
Oh,
Phoenix
was it? Oh, and he locks the Rengar.
Oh, yes.
Very counterplay intuitive champion for Infamous Phoenix. Just jumps out of a bush and one-shots you if you're squishy. Zentriv, or Soccer Wars Fanboy on the Ophelia is going to be very vulnerable to the Rengar ganks. Once he hits 6, is extremely squishy and immobile, so just an absolute field day. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. We still have 4 seconds for them to switch.
3, 2.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Crisis averted.
We see
Crisis
some BMing.
averted.
That's fine. So the thing with Phoenix is that he loves playing Rengar. I believe that's what he uses for a lot of his personal branding, if you will. But he's going against 3 squishies in the lower half of the map. Aphelios, Kai'Sa, Morgana. What he's looking to do is just camp in zone and just murder anybody who gets close to his domain. If you want to hit that Scryer's Bloom right by the Dragon Pit, have fun, because there's a Rengar sitting in the bush, ready to murder you.
Yeah.
Like, that side of the map is just going to be the no-no zone for any squishy to go in. You're hiding in your own bushes, or hiding closer to top side if you're Aphelios. One interesting thing is that Aphelios took Cleanse.
Yep, needs it for
Which
the
will be
Petrifying
helpful
Gaze or Miasma that might come out from Zom Zone. Plus, you have
Also
Death
the
Senses, Taunts,
Boba.
so much stuff that can happen in the mid and late game team fights.
Like the Summoner Diversity on the side of Sandband. With the side of Team Siren, we have 2 teleports, which definitely does help macro plays a lot.
Absolutely. And normally I'd be a bit more critical of picks like Rengar, like Kha'Zix. That's mostly because people pick them very early on in draft in places where the other team can design their comp around it. This time, the Rengar, I think, works very well into the likes of Sandband's composition. That bot side is so gosh darn squishy. It's insane how fast Rengar can kill them if he gets on top of them. And even Zentriv on the Jax, if he's not careful, especially in the early game, can still get one shot if Rengar comes and goes for a lane gank via something like the alcove or through the bushes thereof. So lots of potential pressure here from Team Siren. The Rengar going to be a great early to mid game utensil for Team Siren to use to push those early game leads and then still have the late game scaling of the Ezreal Cassiopeia in their back pocket.
I would not be surprised if Phoenix didn't even gank top once this game. Like that Jax, if he hits level 4, just him down too easily. That's why they picked Shen. That's why they picked Ezreal. You want the lanes to be pushed into you. Shen's a very safe pick. Yes, he can fight, but what he wants to do is support people. He's a support top laner. We get Rengar as the carry, Cass as the hyper carry, and then Ezreal just kind of stays back and lets them push into you, which just opens up. I believe they're on red side, which means if you let that Kai'Sa push into you as Ezreal, you can farm a turret really easily. But Rengar can just walk in that little brush right at the entrance to bot lane and just jump out whenever he feels like it. Ezreal playing a safe lane is definitely the idea that they want to go for with this Rengar comp. also with what I was saying last game, with the Cassiopeia, Jinx, and Jax, you want a lot of CS, and there's not a lot of CS on the map. With their current comp, you let Ezreal get 2 items, you let Shen get 2 items, but your Cass, you're going to want to get Cass to 6 as fast as possible.
I mean, that's one strategy you could play. Cassiopeia actually not too bad in a side lane if you had the vision control. Conkel also looks absolutely out of his mind on this Ezreal. I mean, look at last game, carried the absolute hell out of that initial Elder Dragon team fight, being able to just kite so effectively away from Zentriv, away from Toontown, and Scallops. So I think this isn't the situation where you have like Cassiopeia, Jinx, Jax, like all on the same team, where you have a lot of people trying to vie for that CS, vie for that XP. It's only 2 main carries. Shen is very gold efficient in his item build. Rengar also just going to build cheaper lethality items and can get gold in his own right just from murdering people in the jungle. So doesn't really need to do too much in lane farming. Thresh obviously very gold efficient as a support right now with how his items work. So I think their comp is going to look very good as we get into game 2. Siren up 1-0. Looking for their first 2-0, which if they do 2-0, technically brings them in equal footing to iZone Fangirls once with the 2-0, I should say. Be 2-2 in the records with 3 points. Up in that middle of the pack era right now. Might be even top of the pack, depending on how some other matches play out later in the week. As Mommy's Little Gamer is still our only 4-0 team in PSU LCS. But lots of work to be done before any team catches up to there, as Siren looking for the 5-man bot again, and so is Sandman. Oh, they're both going with the bot lane invade, sitting 5-man tri-brush. Who's going to be the first to find it out? Has a Morgana buying. Infus is creeping up. There's not a lot of CC. Needs a death sense. Infus is going to face check it right into the E. Rooted up and bursted. Kaisa grabbing the first kill. And now the fight continues. She does not keep Rika going very low. Ignite burning down. Toontown not going to be put in the passive yet. Flash forward presented to secure the kill. Passive burn on Zach as Conkow going low as well. Binding hits. Kaisa doesn't have the damage just yet. One more attack, and I cut for G secures another kill. It's a disaster for the side of Team Siren, and the early game already off to a worse start than last time.
That's just one of those where you just stop and question, did you let your Rengar face check that one? Like, at least throw a Thresh Q in there or something. Don't let one of your squishier members just start off with that. We do see that Kaisa now has 2 kills. She backed. She got her mana. She got her boost. She got her charm. Sustained in lane here.
Always going to be very helpful in the early game for iCut. And again, off to a very good start. Already over 1,000 gold at 2 minutes. 1.5k gold lead to start off in game 2. Team Siren early game, just a little bit of a meme tonight. Should be able to recover though with a few picks, with a few plays. Looking at Infamous Phoenix for that early game boost this team needs to come back in.
We were saying before about the whole, like, you really need your cast to carry. The Shen pick is an interesting thing to go with it, because you're playing with 3 squishy champs. Like, Rengar is not the strongest. Cass will die easily if he gets caught out. And Ezreal is Ezreal. He can be blown up within a second. Oh, shield and support and taunt and all the like will really be helpful once he hits level 6. And the thing with his like synergy with the Cass is that he can literally give Cass all his support. Like, he doesn't need gold. That's like we were making jokes about River Shen before. You can win games with just a level 3 Shen on your team. He doesn't need anything other than his CC to be useful.
And his ulti. His ulti's pretty useful.
Yes, that's
Stand United is
but
a pretty good ability. There's also most of the reason you pick Shen.
the macro involved with the Shen outweighs the damage that he does.
Absolutely, for sure.
Having another support on the team is very helpful, especially when you're playing against 2 ADCs. Interesting thing to note is that they have a Jax top and 2 ADCs also. The longsword and the Doran's blades currently coming. I don't know if this will spell a lack of AP damage.
I don't think it's just built too much of a lack of AP.
Later.
Icut Producers is starting to build the tier, so is going with that AP route with the Manamune start, and probably following that up with a Nashor's Tooth.
Okay. Seems like the side of Team Siren, they're gonna have their standard AP carry, mid lane, AD carry, bot lane, then tank top. Nothing too amazing to state about that. I expect the side of Sandband to build lots of armor. They do not want to get blown up by this Rengar.
Yep.
Boots first instead of cloth armor. Like, Rengar to be anywhere close to you, I always put stone armor.
Oh, she was like reaching a very bad trade in the top lane. Tasha doing a lot. Dendro jumps on and manages to find a solo kill. Rika overstepping one too many boundaries in the top lane. Well played by Zenter, finding a quick and easy kill, puts him up 2-0. This base size 2 ton. There's your Rengar damage. Half health from like, what is that? 3 clicks? 3 clicks
Like,
ish?
just like 2 proc.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time that goes by, and then suddenly your health bar disintegrates. That's just what playing like against the Rengar is like.
You can see that he went for 3 long swords immediately before even going his AP jungling starter item.
Rengar doesn't build a jungle item.
Need to build. Usually build blade, at least. But
Yeah.
you want to go Gust Blade or
Dust Blade,
the other
some lethality item. Just
Something-
you're getting a Serrated Dirk for sure. That's what you're looking at.
to get Dirk. The ADCs are going to start dropping.
Absolutely.
7 minutes in and no dragon pressure, really?
Not so much. We didn't see first dragon go down for a while in the first game. Needed a few picks to make it happen, and we might have one now as Scallops gets hooked in with a death sentence. Gets dragged back by the flank. Conka able to find that kill. Ruckshot going very low. Icat Produce did a lot of damage with the Acathian Rain. And that should be disengaged. But a good pick by Ruckchuck and company in the bottom side of the map. And priority mid means it should be the Drake possibly started up here for the side of Team Siren, pushing it back against their early game mistakes.
Far we got ults on Jax, Aphelios, Chen, Rengar, and Cass. 5.
Yep, Dragon is started up. Void Seeker will not hit. And first Dragon does go over to Team Siren. Able to rally from the early game unfortunateness of the invade gone wrong as Shinozaki might be overstepping again. Does have the W to dodge some auto attacks, but will get stunned by the E. Zentrip does get taunted, flashes forward with the ulti, jumps forward as well with the Q, looking for the dive, decides to call it off. A little too risky with how low Shen's cooldowns are, and Rika able to just squeeze his way out of that one.
Rengar for the TMS first. He really wants to be able to clear everything pretty effectively. We'll probably build Dirt for second.
Yep.
Maybe sometime consider building his jungler item, but he's not planning on picking any lane minions, so it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going with the Cinder. Ooh, that's the chance.
And yeah, we kind of just have farming lanes so far. Pressure kind of being traded back and forth in top lane. A 2-0 Jack is not something the 0-2 Shen can deal with in lane, so expect it to be pushed in. Possibly might see a dive in the top lane. Town looking, nope, just will shadow the Jacks for now. Does leave Finn onto Shinozaki, looking for a pick. And yeah, just both sides kind of vying for pressure on the map. Rift Herald is available if Toontown wants to go take it. Does have the top lane priority at the moment. So Shinozaki fighting back on that lane, starting to push into the enemy turret. And this is something I want to point out that we don't see from a lot of PSU LCS teams. Look at Thresh and Rengar. Rakshak is following Infamous Phoenix through the jungle. They're clearing vision. They're getting control over that jungle and making sure they can find a pick if they need to. That is a wasted stopwatch, Shinozaki. Why would you press that? You're dead anyway. Just let it happen. And in the bot lane, Scalps also deceased. Rakshak finds that kill.
Oh no! Look away from the Thresh and Rengar for 5 seconds.
Yep, and they find a kill.
Didn't
Didn't even need conk out. He was back and face. He was in the fountain and they're getting ganks. Might be able to grab a turret plate here. Nope, Thresh not going to. There it is. There's the plating. Infamous Phoenix staying fairly long. Does get the root. Playback. Eye cut for Jesus immediately flashing. Not having any of that. Even though he was under tower and probably safe for all things considered.
I don't know if Thresh spotted that out.
I think he saw the ward go dark before it expired.
Okay.
That's normally a pretty sure sign that someone's around.
Yeah. Very good, just holding all that, not phase checking when you don't need to.
Goldly, though, still going over to the side of Sandband. The early kills just making up a lot of gold difference right now. Conkel also died again somewhere that I missed, I think. Because he's 1 and 2.
He died in the first.
He died in the first, and he died somewhere else. So, does have another death to his name. Missed that one.
Died.
Might have been a solo kill while Thresh was roaming.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure, so I won't say for certain. Either way, 3-0 Kaisa and 3-0 Kaisa and 3-0 Jack still looking really good for Sandband.
Earlier you said that you don't even need Kunkel because he's in the fountain. He was in the fountain because he died.
Ah, yes.
That's why they were coming in from behind. Which, as Ezreal, you should just be under turret if your support's not with you.
More than
Slight
like,
misplay, but he can make it up in gold. Similar farm.
Infamous Phoenix, though, taking advantage of the mid lane priority he has with Soccer Wars taking a earlier back. Just grabbing Rift Herald there real quick, and actually is immediately transitioning down to Drake. So, objectives this game going well in the way of Team Siren's favor. Despite the kills maybe not coming across as easily. Both teams now looking to contest those. Zentriv has TP. Shinozaki has the stand united. So if something does go down, both members in the top lane can find them. Death Sentence onto Soccer, and he's just exploded. Barely gets the Moonlight Vision off. The guy from Kefir Jesus actually gets the return kill onto the Rengar. Not enough follow-up damage there. The ADC not present. Zomzo not around. And now it's Zentriv already making the TP, trying to get in. Petrifying Gaze goes down to 1, but it's really that inconsequential without any more damage. Drake should go down the way of, yep, Sandman does secure. There was no stand united from Shinozaki on that Rengar to try to get him out of there. There was no attempt. There was nothing.
I think it was just trying to get lane pressure when you still had it. Like, yeah, you don't have your teleport, but the fight was pretty much lost at that point. You see a good use of the cleanse from Aphelios, getting out of that CC chain by Thresh and being able to walk away.
It's been good picking making there by, or counter engage I should say there by the side of Sandman. Soccer Warriors able to barely get out with Cleanse, Flash, and then ulting with Chakram. If this Phoenix does do a lot of damage, it also doesn't really have a lot of HP, so once you get some CC on him from the likes of a Morgana and a Zac, it goes down very quickly.
A blue buff going over to Zomzo.
Yep, very useful on the Cassiopeia. If she's also ulting goes under tower on MSPAs, has the Gravitum to make the root happen, so nothing else gonna come off of that play, but should just be able to get mid priority here and pop the Herald. Plating has since fallen, but still can pop it if you want to. 3-man jump and a Gravitum ulti should be a lot of roots coming through. Zed manages to grab the kill onto Infamous as another one goes to Toontown. And that's just lockdown city. Zomzo flashing away from the Dark Binding, but he gets hit by Toontown off the engaged Soccer Wars with the Severum Q, claiming another kill, and that is 3 quick, easy ones to the pocket. The Sandman not playing around this game, and this time looking to get some towers for their time.
We might actually see the middle tower go down, which could be. Well, that's going to be first turn beginning. And that could be the thing that we need to win this game. You saw Team Siren being able to fight back in the last game just because of that pressure. That middle turret really opens up the map in a way that is necessary for you to play a lot of aggressive choices.
Ooh, flash from eye cut, flash from cock out, gets a killer instinct. This is really aggressive eye cut. Clean outplay in the bot lane.
Then should go to the top turret afterwards.
Knew his damage and knew he could take the kill. Conko had no chance and still blew both summoners.
Looks like he's playing Lee Sin with that QW.
Oh, FFG is looking for it though. Finds that cover. He just knows he's already dead. Minions stopped the back, I believe, but nothing he can do. Ripchow doesn't even get a charge off mid lane, so the distraction paying off only a little bit. Infamous Phoenix though does pick up 800 gold and shutdown.
Shutdown gold, arguably worth more than just turret damage by itself.
Dude, no, might look for the pick. I don't think he can dual Infamous though. Marcus does a lot of damage.
He has his dust blade, he has his TFF. That's all he needs to be somebody that can blow up an ADC like he just did.
Still though, even with the shutdown onto Kaisa, around almost 4k gold lead here at 17 minutes for Sandman. Much greater than anything we really saw last game, even at the end of the match. So we'll have to see if this game they can use it, take advantage of their lead and push the advantages into objectives like turrets. Now, looking at the vision line this time, still like 0 vision control for the side of Sandman. Has 2 control wards there by the top side river entrance and a defensive stealth ward in their own jungle. Meanwhile, for the side of Team Siren, lots of control wards all around the map, defensive and offensive, as well as very deep stealth wards, even spawning out Jacks there by Raptors. Ping goes down. So very good job by Siren, even from behind, keeping up an aggressive vision line on these teams.
Again, we see using the special spectator mode, we can see that the Ruckchuck's fresh. Put down these very deep wards when Sandman was sleeping. With those up, you can basically know where the other enemy jungler is at all times. You get a good sense of what play everybody's going for. Maybe seeing Kaisa walking down. We get a dragon take.
Oh, if P is looking for the kill, oh, Jesus gets very low. He's not gonna kill. Killer Instinct buying the time. P goes down to the turret. Icon for Jesus with the outplay as the team fight continues. Shirazaki going down to Inferno mode from Sakura Wars. Toontown actually managed to get the kill. Ruckchuck might escape, has to burn the flash, but Toontown looking for re-engage, finds him with the jump in, and that's a double kill and the Herald as well as the Dragon. Everything going Sandman's way this game. Riptail going to be popped in the mid lane here, looking for that tier 2 turret. So the advantage. Toontown looking for an engage, but a bit optimistic at best. Rip should get a charge off. And now the gold lead balloons to 5, almost 6k gold, just a little shy of 6k. So very, very strong lead for the side of Sandman as we get into the 20-minute marker. At this point, Siren still has a lot of ways to come back in the game. Item discrepancy, though, unlike last game, to be much more apparent by the gold difference. So going to be a little bit more of an uphill climb around. We know what their execution can look like. We know what they can do come the late game, but that might not even happen as Conkow gets jumped out by Toontown. Miasma comes out from Zaza trying to buy some time and does. Toontown unable to find a re-engage without further reinforcements. But if you're looking at the side of Siren and what they can really do, Zomzone still not that far behind his lane opponent in terms of if he has the farm lead, has some advantages built up, still going for his second item, so is behind Aphelios in that portion of it. Fairly so. That's a lot from the 8 assists Aphelios has gotten himself. Lots of extra gold coming into his pockets, so just completing the Rhyolize ties up the item counts with the exception of the boots. So should be starting to output more and more damage, and Conkow almost to that sweet spot. Has the Mira mana fully upgraded, working on that Trinity Force to dish out some really big damage in this mid to late game area. So Siren still has opportunities available to them to come back, shut down gold on both jungler and top lane. Going to be very highly valued for pit making. Infamous Phoenix starting to fall behind the curve a bit, starting to fall off, to not really find that early game footing you want to find as a Rengar. Kind of fell behind the curve, can only really look for the fast picks, which might happen here. Goes on to Ica from Jesus, but is just able to kill her instinct out again. Black Shield also can prevent any more CC, so does burn the ult. Killer Instinct going to be on a very short timer at this point. Yeah, is rank 2.
The thing that Infamous Phoenix has going for him is that he has the same amount of CS that the enemy bot lane has. Like, he's been farming consistently the entire game instead of what junglers normally do and just kind of fall behind and farm and only try to go for kills. Any opportunities to actually kill people. So just continuing farm, continuing stealing enemy buffs, the drop, is really just what you want to do if you don't have good opportunities to murder the enemy team.
turret has been destroyed. Red team has slain the dragon.
Last game we saw Team Siren really play from behind and managed to keep the gold in an even state and was to come back. Here, they're farming well. They're
I
playing
just realized
well.
my mic was muted that entire
Don't
fight.
get killed.
I am sorry, chat.
They're just, again, if they engage on the...
Ooh, Petrifying Gaze onto the Kaisa, but is very healthy. Has is the same level as the mid laner, which is never good to see if you're Team Siren. Yeah, yeah, my bad. I had to cough and muted myself to not cough directly to the mic and forgot to mute it there. But basic gist. Sandbank up a lot of gold. Siren not really looking to do much. Took a trade they really didn't want to in the Baron for the Drake, and that's just kind of it. Yeah, don't go it on that Ruckchuck. That won't be your cup of tea.
Ezreal with the Trinity Force, the Mirror is fully upgraded. Goes with the Kaisa has the Mirror Mana and the Ginsu's Rage Blade completed with the Nash's Tune, just as an added bonus.
Siren trying to get some splitting pressures while has Shen pushing out that bottom lane. Actually, it's a fairly sized wave still moving along. So should be shoving that closer to the enemy turret as the entirety of Sandband is going top lane. Would like to see at least one person going down in the mid lane to push out that wave to get pressure into two lanes, but are just going to brute force this tower down and keep moving on. Now on to the inhibitor turrets, the Baron buff going very well for the side of Sandbank. But bot lane, under pressure. Shinozaki, Rika, not his finest knight in the world, now 0 and 5 on the Shen.
Again, Shen doesn't need kills, Shen doesn't need gold, all he needs is just 80 items, slapping turrets, and the ability to ult out of there if he needs to. Give split push. Fortunately, he did not build any strong 80 items other than Sword and Nails on fire, all tank build. But should probably be looking into something to slap turrets with.
And
Flash, teleport, and stand united so he can get out really easily if need be.
ooh, if that's not the push you want to check. Stun comes through, present him. Still has the ultimate. He can just walk this one out with the speed boost. Though to town, going in, finds himself on Infus Phoenix, can't secure anything. Killer instinct though from the back line, and I cut for Jesus, cuts down Infamous. Now it's into the back line. Shinozaki going low. Zentrip trying to find the kill. The heal coming out from Konka, going to keep him very healthy. Two-Town though extremely taking on the Zack to take so many tower shots. Taunt Shinozaki still alive. Zentrip finally finds that kill as Two-Town goes into the pass. Now Zentrip taking tower aggro. Shut down for Konkal and for Zomzone. And now it's Team Siren making the turn. I for Jesus kiting away. Has to eventually get around Kaisa getting the kill onto Konkal. Now just Zomzone versus the World Soccer Wars fanboy diving under turret. The Seraph's Embrace doing as much work as it really can. Ends up being a 4 for 2 in favor of
Sandband.
Yeah, Sandband. And it was a very close fight for me. It looked like Sandband might have overextended, but I cut for Jesus coming in, as well as eventually Sakura Wars with the Aphelios doing so much damage in the back half of that fight, just able to shred through the Cassiopeia and the very squishy Concal, despite his pretty good kiting up till that point. Now, the reset actually might let Siren secure this Drake, which is huge, because that actually puts them at soul point. So Siren still having a possible option for a win condition yet in this game.
One thing I noticed is that Aphelios just put a control ward down in the Drake pit, but that was currently, like, previously in the Baron pit, across from the other control ward in the Baron pit. And then they have 2 control wards, one in Pixel, one in Shrine. So they had this weird diamond of control wards set up. Currently, they're just waiting for somebody.
Yep, death,
to
brush, death, brush, death,
face
brush,
check.
death, brush. Oh, Toontown doesn't give a crap anymore. He's jumping onto Zom Zone, but a good Thresh Lantern off of Ruckchuck. Gonna get him right and quick out of there.
I feel like setting up Vision in that formation was a slight error, because they didn't know that Team Siren was going to go for third Dragon at that point. They had a lot of Vision on Baron, but that wasn't even up yet.
If you do want to have one upside here for Team Siren after this 30-minute marker, as the gold lead has not grown anymore since the Baron buff fell off for the side of Sandbank. Still around an 8k gold deficit towards Siren, as a good Petrifying Gaze on 2, but it is the 2 tankier members of Sandbank, so they're just going to be able to pop Azonias and walk their way out, and not enough follow-up damage coming out of Siren to really do anything in that situation.
Really strange Zonias to me, considering we still had 2,000 health left.
It might have thought there was something else coming over the wall. I mean, they don't have any offensive vision in Siren's jungle, so don't blame Zentriv for popping it. Could have been a lot worse, as Chizo Kai getting caught out here. Will get stunned up by the EW coming out as well, burning some time. It's fairly tanky the Shen, but Jax just has way too much mixed and true damage. He gets stunned up again, looking for the flash of the wall. Can't find it, as he does not have it, and will fall in the end. So the split push not working out well for Shinozaki, as he chalks up his 7th death of the game.
They both had teleport.
Possible pick on a Toontown. Teleport coming in from Zentriv, though, looking for possibly the fight. Just kites up towards Baron, which is started by Sandband. Is a 4v5, and they do have vision on Ipis Phoenix, so they know he's not around the Baron just yet. Concal in the area as well as Zom Zone. Petrifying Gaze is off cooldown, but he's stunned up by the Jax Guardian as the ulti, and he's got the kill. Toontown also jumping back, trying to get the CC. Concal cutting away, has to flash in the end. It's Ruckchuck left out to the wolves as he falls. Icup confused with the Acathian Rain, finds that, and it's just up to Infamous to try to make one of those hero plays for the Baron steal. Does not have the ultimate, though. Already used it to try to find a way in the fight, which means this is going to be extremely difficult to close the steal, but will just instead settle for pushing out mid lane. Concal has Mystic Shot. A little late on it. Cool. Will not secure the Baron, will not secure any kills. Baron Nashor goes once again over to the side of Sandband. I don't know why I keep saying Sandbank.
Play in your brain.
Yeah,
The thing that
it's a
I'd like
long
to-
day. It's a long day.
It's very late currently. The thing I'd like to point out again.
Oh
This time
no.
Team Siren is not the
Shinozaki,
person
he
with
dashes
the
over,
turret.
but what is he dashing into? It's Toontown, pops the ultimate. Acathian Rain also going in. Will just be killed momentarily by Zentriv. Oh, he has no mana actually, so can't jump anymore with the Q, but just runs back in Toontown, securing that kill, going to 6-1 on the big purple blob. And the gold lead goes up yet again to 9,000 gold. If you are Siren, this should be just about the game in terms of the gold difference, at this point. Siren kind of just hoping that Sandman hard throws somehow. I mean, you're almost entirely relying on Pink's fix at this point. Also, I'm not sure why, but I cannot see icon for Jesus' Void Seekers. They just don't exist on my screen. And
I haven't really been seeing them at
entirely
all.
invisible.
I don't know if he just wasn't using it or not, though.
Inhibitor turret falls as flash forward from Zentrip trying to get onto Zom Zone. Good. Paralyzed gaze. The killer instinct from iCut goes immediately onto the back line. If it speaks, finds a return kill onto the Aphelios, but is immediately able to get back out of there. Zach also going down. Zentrip pops the E, has a stun, finds the kill. Zentrip going to grab that onto Infamous as he might go down here. Concal looking for those missing shots. Gets stunned up by Toontown, goes very low. Toontown finding that kill, but the carries are still alive. It's iCut for Jesus cleaning up house. Going 12-1-9 and legendary on the Kaisa. Will find their first win of the season as well. Will not let Siren one-up them, so to speak, in the standings. It shows a little bit of BM as the Nexus finishes off 1-1 in the series. And both teams advance to 1-3 in the split.
You always love to see two evenly matched teams go at it. Like, yeah, the fight. Each game was extremely skewed in how it ended up to be played.
I wouldn't say that. I think Sandman
that's
was.
just because,
I think the
like-
first game was much closer than the second game. Much closer.
It felt like the entire game, Team Siren had a chance. They just couldn't take it. You're looking at it, the game is probably over by the second minute. But any chances, they just literally gave the Kaisa 600 free gold and then couldn't dig their way out of that. That goes that game 12-1 with 9 assists. Scallops did extremely better with 1-3-19 this game. You could tell that he's comfortable. Owen Morgana.
Gold lead, by the way, ended up being around 11.5k, if anyone was wondering. Which is just an absurdly high lead. Yeah, that was a series. That was a really good series. I think the first game was very back and forth. Siren fought their way, I think, momentum-wise back. They never really fell behind in gold because they could keep their structures up. But second game, Sandman definitely rallied and got the better of them. So I think the first game looked a lot closer than the second. I think Siren just got their doors absolutely blown off the second game. And a lot of that, I think, did have to do with the very big coin flip level 1 play.
Yeah, and you could tell after like 20 minutes passed in that game, there was a slight tilt happening where just plays weren't being found, things were being executed correctly after the first 15 minutes. Just kind of started tipping over, and then by the end, they could still play the game as they wanted to. They just didn't the things they needed to do.
Yeah.
They got Drakes. They were on objectives. They just couldn't get them late game, other than the third drag for them.
All right. I haven't put on any notice, but if anyone wants to interview, we can do some interviews quickly. It is a bit late, so if no one really wants to do it, I won't be like super upset. But if anyone in the is here on the chat who wants to do an interview, just speak up. If you're doing that, you need to go just like join a team chat. I don't have admin power, so I can't add you guys to casts, but we can always just go into interviews. So like join like Team 1 chat in the Discord server or something. All right, yeah, we'll interview Breezy. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the interview side of things, Mr.
Yeah, I'm on
Sakura
the other
Wars.
side of it. I'm pretty pog.
So, few things for me to start the interview. First off, congratulations on getting your first win of the season.
Yeah, it was so hype.
Was it a
We're
very
in that
exciting game to watch in game one?
we're in that final push inside their base, and like I get one shot by Rengar because I'm an immobile ADC, and then I just see my team win. I'm like, yo, we win these. Got to keep the hype up. That was my entire job.
Yep. So, few things for me to talk about. First off, Aphelios solo lane.
Yeah,
I want to hear the logic. I want to hear the reasoning. I want to hear why you thought this would work and not get smacked.
A flex pick.
okay.
to
So
start.
my big logic behind it is whenever a new champion comes out that none of like my other friends want to play, I instinctively just play it mid lane anyway. So like back like when Aphelios was released, I would be doing that a lot. And then for this specifically, since we're on blue side, I'm like, we don't have to ban the Aphelios. And then we can just first pick it. And then we can flex it mid lane. And it all relies I shouldn't say too much. I don't want people to be, creeping on my strats, but I'm a pioneer of Aphelios mid. I believe in it. And you know what? It worked. So
Very. Hey, whatever gets the job done. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
complain too much. It was very interesting to see in the draft. So.
it's a lot of drafting power.
Mhm.
Because they banned out I believe it was Diana. And
Yeah,
it's
they
like
definitely
they
banned
can
Diana.
ban out mid laners all they want. I can play a lot. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do good on them.
Deep champ
But-
pulls. Deep champ pulls. We're humanoid of
Yeah.
of the LEC. But another thing I'd see if I can get your opinion, or at least your thought process on was game one, the L, the very close
Okay.
game.
Yeah, we were definitely like game one was I think it was a great game. We were all like after the game we might have lost, but we were all nodding like that was a good game. We enjoyed it. So it just came down to a lot of like miscommunications. We got disjointed in a couple team fights, and then we lost off of an elder and some miscommunications through like the big team fights, the big two that lost us that game. But we didn't let it get us down, which was the important thing. Kept morale up, and it paid off.
Yep, strong mental is something to really be sought after. Just on teams, that's for both amateur and pro. That you have a strong mental, you can do quite a bit of impressive things, I should say.
Thing I always say is that mechanics are like half of the game. Working with your team and keeping your mental straight is such a huge part. And I can tell, like, from that second game, you guys went into it and just thought, if they're going to try cheese on us, we're going to try cheese on them.
Okay, so game one, because they also picked the Thresh, my solo queue brain instantly thought, okay, they're gonna try to invade, so they should play that. And then they go invade up on our Jackson top lane. And so I'm like, game two, they also have the Thresh. I'm like, they tried doing it top lane last game, so they're definitely gonna try doing it bot lane. And then my team was like, yo, let's all group up in the tribe rush in bot side and we'll catch them out. And then we caught them out and just kind of snowballed off of there. So
My biggest question, like, I literally ask every single person, like, has there been any Disney movies that inspired you
Oh
in
my.
this game?
dude, okay, so we brought this up at the start of game two. We're talking about High School Musical, the pioneering movies of a generation of college students. And you know what? We brought it up, and that propelled us to the victory off of our reverse cheese. So
I'm not gonna flame because whatever does it for you, does it for you. But If only stream could see the look of just utter exasperation on my face after hearing what I just heard.
What I'm saying is that
Oh.
when we play together, Trash, I think that we should be playing Get Your Head in the Game, like, right before every single one of our matches.
It'll get
I will
copyrighted. I mean, we
actually
can't
run it
stream
down
that.
mid.
We'd get copywritten for that.
Oh, no. We're not talking about stream. He's talking about in our game tomorrow night.
Oh. Oh,
4
okay.
FM,
Okay.
let's go. POV stream on Pocket Milk, by the way.
Pog.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's casting it, because there's a lot more just better games going on that would probably be better to cast. I ain't gonna lie there.
It's okay if we flame ourselves, because no one can hurt us as much as we can hurt ourselves.
Indeed. Well,
Well, I gotta thank the interview here.
yep.
Yeah?
Some wise words,
Yeah.
some wise movies to be seen.
I still think, you know, my team's on the High School Musical 3 train. I still think the second is the better of the trilogy, but that's just my opinion, so.
I would have to agree with you there. I Don't Dance is a beautiful number.
It's changing of a generation.
It's got baseball and everything.
True.
All right, that'll do it for tonight's interview before I have to hear any more about High School Musical 2 and 3. Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely great.
Oh,
Great games tonight from you guys.
yeah.
Always good to see
I
you
will-
there.
I will probably see stream casting a game in the potential future. so.
Absolutely, would be happy to have you back. But yep,
All right.
thank you for the interview and good luck in all of your future games.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, that will do it here for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. In terms of games tomorrow, I'll be doing a POV stream on my channel tomorrow, or my Twitch channel tomorrow for 4FM versus
S.
4FG.
G.
For Fun Movement versus For Fun Gamers. So that is something that's going to be happening there. I believe there's also Low Expectations versus somebody. Low Expectations versus PSU Secret Service tomorrow night at 7. And there's at least a handful more games tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as well, which might be on either the main channel or on individual channels in POV streams. You'll have to keep posted on that.
If I were to expect
Yeah.
anybody to be streamed on the main channel, I think it would be 50% versus One Tricks.
Maybe.
Just from murmurs I've heard.
Maybe.
I don't know all the matchups by heart, but I imagine 50% versus One Tricks or Low Expectations versus PSU Secret Service.
All right. That will be it for us on the stream tonight. So thank you guys so much for tuning in yet again. Really, really good set of games played here by Siren, and really looking forward to see what else the season has to offer. So make sure you guys
Be
keep
honest.
tuning into the games. We all love to see here. If you haven't noticed or you are late to the stream, Nittany Invitational is live for signups. You guys need to sign up quickly. Spots will fill up soon, especially for PSU teams. So make sure you guys go into the Discord announcements and sign up for that with your team if you are interested as soon as possible. And we'll see you next time on the Rift. I'm Infamous Trash.
Turbulence.
Thank you all for watching.